Hello, everybody. My name is Dee, and welcome to Books and Quirks. Today it's Friday, so it's time for a Friday Reads. So I hope you all had a lovely week. I will be traveling next week, so I may miss Friday Reads next week, but I'm here today, so let me just get started. So the first book that I finished this week, and we actually finished it today, is His Bloody Project. I always have to look up the name, but it's by Graham McCrae Burnett. I have this on ebook, and this is a book about a murder that took place in 1869 in the rural country of Scotland. It is told as sort of a memoir from the main character's point of view. So the main character is Roddy, and the book starts out with him going to work in the morning. It's a very, it's just a farming, tiny village in Scotland, and he comes back with blood all over him, and he says that he murdered a local villager called Lachlan Broad. And the whole story is told from his point of view, or the majority of the story is told from his point of view, where you get to see all of the events leading up to the murder, and then you get to see also bits of his childhood as he tells his story. And he's only 17 in the novel, so he's a very young man when he commits these murders. So the book is broken up into three parts. The first part is Roddy telling his story and speaking of all of the events, of his life and leading up to the murder and everything that's affected him. The second part is the medical reports, and the third part is the trial. So this was a very dark and grim book, but I really did enjoy it. I actually loved it. And usually these books I don't usually agree well with them, but I must have been in the mood for something dark. And like I said last week, this book has been on my radar for a while. I remember being interested in it when I saw it on the bookshelves, a long time ago. I think it came out even like 3 years ago. So or maybe it was 2 years ago. I can't remember. But it was very good, and I really enjoyed this buddy read. And I read it with Sean of On the Stoop, Cheryl of Sierra Flames Fan, Melanie of Mel's Bookland Adventures, and Candace of Beacon Hill Books. And yeah, it was a great read, and it was really short. I thought it was going to take weeks to read because I remembered the book being thick, but it wasn't thick at all. We read it in 6 days, so it was really good. The second book I finished was These Christmas Sisters by Sarah Morgan. Sarah Morgan writes a lot of, chick lit, some romance. This falls more under chick lit. It's not romance. But this is about three sisters who grew up in Scotland by adoptive parents. So these three girls lost their parents when they were very young, just small children, and they were adopted by a family friend. And because of how each of them dealt with the past, they've sort of grown apart and have a very strained relationship. They're all coming back for Christmas, and things sort of unravel from there, where they have to sort of deal with each other, deal with the past, and heal some of those festering wounds. This book I got from NetGalley, so it is a Christmas book, and it's coming out in just a couple of weeks. I really enjoyed it. I actually really loved it. I was really interested in the story. The story is told from each sister's point of view, as well as the adoptive mother's point of view. So you get to see how each of them, deals with things. And I really loved it. I was so engrossed from the very beginning. And it's as with every Sarah Morgan book, I've read a couple by her, it's a really quick read, and you can just fly through these books. And it's just a feel-good book. You know what I mean? So I really loved it. The next book I started was The Little Shop of Found Things by Paula Braxton. This book I didn't get far into. I only got a couple of chapters into it. I just started it yesterday. So I will be continuing on with that this week. I am enjoying it. I mean, I can't really tell because I'm only a couple chapters in, but I am really enjoying those couple chapters at least. And I will tell you more about that book once I get further into it. Paula Braxton writes a lot of like paranormal type books, so I'm eager to see what this one has to offer. The only other book that I want to possibly get to this coming week is Only Foreword by Michael Marshall Smith, and this is forwarded by Neil Gaiman, so you know what type of book it is just by that. I love Neil Gaiman, but this book is a fantasy written by Michael Marshall Smith, and I don't know much about it. Based on the blurb on the back, I think this is about a world in which each city is like your greatest nightmare. Um, and I don't know how else to describe it. It says, a city where reality is twisting and broken, a world in which friends can become enemies in a heartbeat, and where your most secret fear can become a soul-shredding reality. So I really feel like in the mood for this type of book. So I really want to get started and read it. I'm just really excited to start that. So I will be traveling starting on Wednesday of this coming week, and I will be gone through the weekend. I do have a lot of traveling coming up this fall with a new job. I will be traveling to many different states. My videos may become a little sporadic. I am very sorry about that. But I will start up again, on a regular basis when the holidays come around. I will be around for Friday reads on the weeks that I can, but there are going to be quite a few where I will be gone. And when I'm away for work, it's very time consuming, and work just takes up all of my brain, and I can't really do anything else, even read on these trips. It's very difficult for me to read because mostly I'm just thinking about work things. So I know that I think my reading might even suffer a little bit, which is sad, but I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all very, very soon.